you guys. Hey, John. Maybe I should tell everyone who you are at home. We know lots of Johns around here. Bates, Clark, Ellis, Monroe. Hi to John Calvin, and I see you've brought a friend, Dr. Martin Luther. What's that? You don't recognize where you are? Well, that's interesting because Hickory was settled by a lot of Germans. We have Lutheran churches everywhere. Oh, you don't know where you are here. Well, this is First Presbyterian. John Calvin can show you around, Dr. Luther. What's that? Good point, you guys, good point. They want me to remind you, this is a big year for the Reformers. We celebrate the 500th year anniversary of the Reformation, 1517 to 2017. Time sure does fly. In fact, speaking of Reformation and reform, our 144-year history here as First Presbyterian, well, we've experienced a lot of changes, and some things have stayed the same. But that's why we're here today, is to talk about the new things that are going on here. In fact, I think I'll get Stephen. He can tell you a thing or two about the sanctuary. Hold on.
Hi, Stephen here, dressed in my Reformation finest. I've spent a lot of time with John Calvin over the years, and I like sometimes just to dress up. You like that? He likes that idea a great deal. Part of being a Presbyterian is being reformed and always reforming, and the church reforms to meet the needs of its evolving congregation. So I'm here in the sanctuary with three of your former pastors, William Matthews, Gordon Trawick, and John Hay. William Matthews was pastor in 1900 when they put together $1,000 and bought the property. And then Gordon Trawick came along just a few years after that, and they built the beautiful stone church in 1906. And it remains beautiful today, and nothing's going to change that. But it needs to continually evolve, and that happened when John Hay was here in the 1950s, because they moved things around. We're going to make a couple changes in this campaign. Invited. With any luck, it'll stick on there. Well, it's not going to stick anyway. With the campaign, we're going to shorten a couple pews. Just move this pew end right up here so that there's room for those who are in wheelchairs or in walkers or disabled children who are in a stroller of some kind. That's an important part that's going to go in here. Also, we're going to put some new bathrooms in so that some people don't have to walk all 186 steps to get to the men's room on the far end of the fellowship hall. It's just not a good thing. Let me show you about the new entrance they're going to put in. Well, here we are in the narthex. Oh, hi, yes. In order to get to the sanctuary from the main part of the church, this window will be relocated, and there will be an opening here that goes out to the cloister, which will keep you from getting your hair messed up. Some of us are very sensitive to that.
Hey John, hey Martin, welcome down to the senior high room. We are excited to have you guys down here, and we normally start out by doing highs and lows each night, so why don't you guys share your highs and lows with us? What's that? You're right, you guys didn't come down here to do highs and lows, I forgot. You came down here to talk about how this space is going to be remodeled with our capital campaign. Well, I've also invited some of our former pastors down here, Dave Harper and Whit Kennedy. These guys were the pastors when some of the other remodeling happened down here. And so we invited them to walk through the space. We are going to actually share with you guys some of the exciting things that are going to happen down here. So you are invited to step into the kitchen with me so we can take a look at that. Well, I'm glad you guys helped yourself to a cup of coffee down here. Why don't you enjoy that while we talk about this space and what's going to happen down here. This space is our kitchen down in the senior high room, and we do a lot of eating down in this space, maybe more than anything else that we do, but we almost never cook down here. And so we are going to reimagine this space to better suit our needs. We will have a much smaller kitchen once the remodel is done. We are going to have some extra space for laundry and things like that, and then a good amount of space added for new bathrooms. The ones that we have a really special smell to them, and we may miss that smell a little bit, but we're mostly just excited about the new bathrooms. We will also get all new paint down here and furniture, which is very needed after about 10 years since the last remodel with those things being done. So that's what's going on down here. Let's head over to one more space I want to show you. Hey guys, welcome down to our junior high room. You may want to hold your breath because it's a little smelly down here right now. We've got a crew who is already starting to remodel this space by painting the walls. This used to be kids' space, and we switched spaces with them last year once we realized that we really needed a bigger space for all of our junior highs who were here. And so we've been down here for about 6 months now, and we're excited to freshen up this space. A lot of groups in the church use this space, not only the junior highs, but also networks on Monday nights and the art class on Thursday mornings, and also our Boy Scout troop here at the church. So this space is getting a facelift, if you will. We also will probably get some updates here in the kitchen during the renovations. And so it's going to be a really nice space for all these different groups. Don't you wish you guys were a junior high here? They do. All right, guys, let's go up to see Sarah. She is actually in what was the old junior high room and is now our new kids space.
Zacchaeus met Jesus and changed forever. He cared for others. John and Martin, I know you guys can relate to Zacchaeus. You guys are wee little men too. Well, I've invited a special friend here today. We have Fred Stair with us. He was here when the education building was first built, and we're here to talk about changes that are going to be happening in this building. First of all, in this room, which is our current junior high space, it's going to become our new kids space. So we're about to paint, and we're also going to be knocking out a wall to enlarge this space for our preschool through 5th grade age children. We're going to take part of that food pantry and supply closet to make this space a little bit bigger. Also on this hallway, we're going to add a couple of bathrooms. We're going to have a men's and a women's bathroom on this hall for the children to use during Sunday school and on Wednesday nights for FP3. Lots of exciting changes. And another thing we're going to be talking about is playgrounds. So please come follow me. We'll talk about playgrounds.
One of the renovations is this bathroom, which was built in the Reformation. Nation.
Guys, this is such a great spot for the natural revelation of God's creation. In fact, this is the location for our new playground for our older children. Our current playground is going to become more of a green space, and Whit's going to tell you more about that.
John, Martin, I'm so glad you went with us to our presbytery meeting. I know it was a long meeting. We're working on that. And I know it was a bumpy ride getting here into the parking lot. We're working on that too. John and Martin, since I've invited you back to the church, I've also invited you out here into our parking lot. And I want to show you what we've got planned during this capital campaign and renovation. The church has owned this parking area for many years, but it has gone undeveloped. And the most exciting thing about this is that it will be graded and paved with a gentle slope. And what is most exciting is that that slope will lead immediately into the church on one level. Even this entrance into the fellowship hall, there will be a covered walkway leading straight from the parking lot directly into the fellowship hall. There'll be no hills, no steps, no impediments to people coming from the parking lot into our church. Come on, John. Martin took the Reformation plunge. What do you need? An invitation? John and Martin, I've invited you to the new front porch for First Presbyterian Church. This will be the place where we welcome our preschool students, our church members, and the community as they drive into our driveway, pull under a 2-lane porte-cochere, and then enter the church by the front door under a covered cloister wall. This is one of the parts of the project that I am personally most excited about, because this is the place where all of Hickory will come to our church. John and Martin, I've invited you in from our covered drop-off and covered walkway front door to the church to see the welcome space that will be here after our renovation. This space will actually be expanded by moving the library, which is behind me, to a new space, a larger conference room and library in the administration wing. And what I've done is invited one of our previous pastors, Wallace Johnson, who was the pastor here when this space was first renovated, to show him what we're doing this time.
As you can see, we're in our conference room. Hi guys, I brought along a friend, Dr. John Richards Hay. When Dr. Hay was a pastor here, this building, the administration building, was built. It was for educational purposes then. It was built in 1928, which means the walls are plaster, the floors creak, you can't sneak up on anyone. Probably a good thing if you're playing underground church, right guys? Well, our pastors hang out here mostly. You can see them on the wall behind me. So you met the pastors, right? Good. So the conference room gets a facelift as well. It's going to be bigger to accommodate for more meeting space, and it becomes part of the library. So that gets moved in the gathering space. More on that in a minute. All in all, it's pretty exciting. Wouldn't you say so?
Martin and John, I can see how you're hesitant. These are steep, narrow steps. And that's why we're planning to make a lovely cloister wall between our education building and our sanctuary, a nice gently sloped ramp that will be covered and very inviting. Because I don't want just you to feel invited here. I want everyone to be invited.
Children. And Whit's going to tell you more about that.
To be honest, I'm hoping we get matching chairs in the new conference room.
Come on, John. Martin took the Reformation plunge. What do you need to be invited?
What's that? Oh, yeah, you're right. You guys didn't come down here to do highs and lows. We came to talk about the renovation of this space. Oh, Martin.